back when I was a little kid, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. I loved going to my grandparents on the weekend because several reasons. One, they spent money on me. They spoiled me a little bit, but I got to do a couple of things on the weekend with them that otherwise I wouldn't have gotten to do. My grandmother, she's a Sunday school teacher, so that meant I get to go to Sunday school with her. So we went to church early, and it was good. I enjoyed that. But for her to prepare for Sunday school, teaching the lesson, every Saturday we went to the public library. She let me check out, about half a dozen books, and I kept them that week, read them that week. It started my love affair with books, and I'm still on that same course, as those of you who followed me for a long time, And it was all because of my grandmother, her influence, being able to go to the library. It never would have crossed my mind that I might walk in there and encounter a drag queen story hour, or I might have to, my grandmother didn't have to keep a watch on me in case I was going to run into some pornographic material or something like that in the library. But those days are gone. Times have changed, and our kids are being bombarded. They're being attacked, and this it's just an evil thing that is among us. And now it is very, very evident. It's not even in hiding anymore. And one of the guys is leading a valiant fight, and I believe winning, because he's doing it in a very strong way, but he's doing it in the right way, is Kirk Cameron. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Great to be here with you.
Welcome, man. Dude,
I want a pair of boots and a hat like you.
You can have them.
I got boots. I just need a hat.
The thing is,
and a buckle.
I love wearing the hat because everybody will tell you this. Like, I like for people to just think they're talking to a bumpkin, and they are, but they're just go ahead and underestimate you and judge
That's
you right
right.
up front. And then I get people when I take the hat off, they get mad at me. They're like, "Cover that back up." But I'm so lazy this week. I'm not even wearing socks. Catch the ire of everybody. Dude, I know you're under attack with everything that's been going on, and you'd have to be living under a rock, folks, if you don't know everything that Kirk's been going through in the last couple of years. They wouldn't let you go read your own books about faith and redemption, and children's books that talk about growing up and the values and godliness and these kind of things. Great principles. And they fought you. They wouldn't let you come read to those books in the libraries. What's up with that?
Well, they're not great principles if you're a communist, right? Those are antithetical to your worldview, and you want to put that down along with all the rest of Western civilization, which is ultimately rooted in the Bible. You got to get rid of all that stuff if you want to bring in a great reset, if you want to bring in socialism or anything like that. Can we go there? Can I say things
100%.
Like this on your show?
You can say anything you
got
want to say.
a hat on, so I know I can say
right.
things.
You're under my umbrella, Kirk. I've got it covered for both of us.
Here's a quick 30,000-foot view of what happened. Last Christmas, I wrote a children's book called As You Grow, and it was teaching children how to grow the fruit of the Spirit. That's a biblical term for the things like love, joy, peace, kindness, gentleness.
Concepts.
Yeah.
Horrible concepts.
All right. And I wanted to read it in a public library setting to kids, like so many other people have been doing, these story hours that you've been hearing.
Yeah.
And I was denied by over 50 woke libraries that had previously held drag queen story hours and promoted them for children. And when we asked them, why don't you let me come in? They said, our values are not aligned. Our community doesn't want your kind of a message. We're a inclusive society here, and so we don't appreciate your messaging. And now, of course, you see the irony there, the contradiction there. I said, why aren't you including me then? What's the deal? And I reminded them, this is America. You're engaged in viewpoint discrimination, saying yes to this group with even sexualized content that's inappropriate for kids, and no to me to talk about love. And even worse, if you're discriminating based on Christianity, that's a violation of the Constitution of America, and you're going to be held responsible in court. So they reversed course. I went to the library, Indianapolis, downtown, 3,000 parents and grandparents show up for a book reading of a little book like this, teaching kids about self-control and love and peace. And that showed me that there is a loving army out there that is passionate about their children, about the future, about the family, about this country, about God. And they want to get behind the restoration of good things in this country. and to get back to the principles that lead to blessing and protection. So that's what I've been doing for a year, going to public libraries. We had a second book come out called Pride Comes Before the Fall. That was about humility. We released it during Pride Month. Debuted in Seattle, Washington Public Library. That was a hoot. And then this newest one is called The Fox, the Fair, and the Invention Scare About Loving Your Enemies. So with everything going on in the Middle East, everything going on here, I figured this would be a good time to give our kids a better strategy than cut their throat before they cut yours.
Yeah, I mean, that's a timely message. And that's, you're right, because you go out and, you know, it's like we recognize that the next generation is important. Like everything that's valuable to us, whether it's the church, whether it's freedom, whatever, it's always one generation away from extinction. If we don't put those values in the next generation, they're gone. Well, these folks out there, the socialists, the Marxists, the whatever, they recognize that. They've been playing the long game, and they're beating us at it.
That's right.
We claim to value it, but we're not doing anything about it, you know? You've now started something called SkyTree Book Fairs. I used to love going to the book fair. Man, when they brought that thing in there, I counted.
So fun, right?
It was colorful books all over the bookshelves, and it was like, what can I budget myself? But when you go to the book fairs at the school now, it's kind of got a different look, right? It's not the race car, it's not the train, it's not the horse on the cover. What do they got now?
Well, now it's a little different. Welcome to St. Hell, my trans teen misadventure that contains true pornography and sexually obscene material for minors.
Wow.
You got stars in their eyes. You got one called Rick, which is all about changing your genders. Many of these books now from Scholastic Books, which, by the way, they're the world's largest producer and distributor of children's books.
Yeah, we've all read Scholastic books our entire lives.
We love them. But now they're laced with gender-confusing, obscene, sexually explicit material inside of books that have covers that appear to be benign. And, you know, we've all seen the videos of the mom at the school board meeting railing on the school board, but we said, where is this material coming from in the first place? And we discovered that there is a wolf in grandma's clothing who wants to eat the kids alive, and it's Scholastic Books.
Yeah.
They've been around for over 100 years, billion-dollar company, and they are the monopolizer of all of these materials. So what we are wanting people to do is don't just take my word for it, see it with your own eyes. If you go to our website, you can download a PDF that has book titles, pages, and copies of stuff like this. Chad, we're talking about clothes off, full naked, girl pointing at her private parts, calling it her imaginary willy, with an instruction manual on how to hide from your parents the way to inject yourself with enough hormones to turn your female sex part into a 2-inch bat and balls.
Wow.
And this is being marketed to minors.
Minors, like children.
And encouraging kids to explore drag at 4 and 5 years old. And it's so explicit that even Facebook cancels the ads for these books due to violation of sexually explicit codes. And those are codes for adults, not to mention this is all for minors. So if you download this PDF, you can show your friends, see it for yourself, show your principal, go to your school, show your librarian, your school board, let them know what's in the books. And then you can replace these harmful Scholastic book fairs with helpful, wholesome book fairs. Go to SkyTreeBookFairs.org.
Yeah, and you can bring them in.
And you can replace them. We've already got the first one happening in Virginia next month, and we have over 700 public schools and private schools who are actively in the process of swapping out Scholastic book fairs for SkyTree book fairs.
Yeah.
And you can change what's going on, because your kid gets one book in their mind, and you read the reviews, and they say, this is the book that made me go to the doctor and cut off my body parts.
Yeah.
And You need every book in your kid's library at their little school in elementary school to be reinforcing the values that you believe in.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, here in Texas, people say, well, I've looked in our school library. We don't have those things. I said, or certain titles that I've recommended. I said, y'all understand, you can go online. There is a Texas educational online library with recommended reading in there as well. I mean, it gets deep, dude. I mean, with the stuff that they're hiding from us, not just what's in plain sight.
Yes, and a lot of the really bad stuff, you can't tell by looking at the title.
Right.
Because it doesn't say it, and that's the point, right? If you're a drug dealer and you want to get drugs to kids, you might lace some Halloween candy with something that they can't see.
Yeah.
Well, here you have Scholastic lacing books that look benign for children with material that is not just asking them to make a choice about who they want to be, but it's actually leading them down a path that will destroy them and their families. And when I read the biographies and the personal memoirs of the authors of these books, you find out these are broken people from broken family situations.
Yeah, sure.
And now they're just recounting their story and inviting kids to come in and recreate those stories and have a sense of community and go down the same broken path of isolation, depression, and lostness that they're in.
Man, thank you, first of all, for doing what you're doing. I mean, you could be using your platform for so many different things. So many do, and you didn't have to do this. But thank God you've got that conviction and the leading to do what you're doing. And I can tell you this, folks, from firsthand experience, the books that they're putting out, whether it's with Brave Books or whatever, way better quality books and better stories than that. And I know people are going to say, well, so does that mean we're going to have just this Christian book fair that's going to come in here?
No, that's not what it is. SkyTree Book Fairs aggregates books from the best authors and publishers around the country. They're like I said, we've got 700 of them in the works, and the majority will be in the fall, and there will be 500 titles that you can choose from that have all been vetted for content to make sure there's no critical race theory, or this sexually obscene stuff, all the gender confusing stuff, all of that's out, and these are about good, wholesome values that made America the freest, strongest, greatest place in the world and put the focus on God and the family.
Well, we're in trouble, man. I mean, if we don't do something about it.
Yeah.
Because our kids are being brainwashed.
Yeah.
Sexualized even. I mean, it's insane what they're being exposed to.
Yeah. And now we need parents to wake up and remember that the task of nourishing and protecting children was given to us. So if this is now a dangerous place for our children, I'm sorry, but that's on us.
Yeah.
And we need to say, wait a minute, let's take back our responsibility and let's not just complain about a bad culture. We're putting them there.
Yeah.
And we have the opportunity to vote the right people in and then get involved on a local level. And so that's what I want to do. I don't want to just hear about people peddling fear and rehearsing the problem. Let's get some solutions and then find out who's on board to go do something.
Yeah.
So I'm connecting with you, Brave Books, and these guys at SkyTree Book Fairs.
So SkyTreeBooksFairs.org and then KirkCameron.com is your site, which has a number of resources in there, like the homeschool Bible.
Yep, we're doing all kinds of things.
Tons of things. Because everybody that watches this show or listens to this show, my thing is you got to get your kids out of public schools. I stand by that. They've
become public enemy number one because the whole point of public schools, begun by Horace Mann in the very beginning days, was essentially to strip biblical Christianity out of the family, and the way that you do it is by essentially getting the kids away from their parents for 7 hours a day and convince the parents that what their kids really need is professional teaching experts. Yeah. And then that's where you bring in all the Marxism, you bring in all the socialism, and you separate them from the things that matter. And that's how we're here today. Scholastic is simply following in the footsteps of the Humanist Manifesto, and all of that can be traced back to the public school system.
Make sure you're following him on social media as well. On Twitter, he blasts Scholastic on his Twitter feed this week, so good job on that. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for the time.
Thank you. Appreciate you.